Welcome to my humble abode. I am Yorkie the Tale Spinner, and I would like to welcome you to tales of my time in the Riven Realms, when I was Vagrus of a caravan. Just setting out, unsure of what would lie ahead. Of miscreants and misfits. But already we knew we had to head up north. To Torzag's shelter. Right now, I'm trying to see exactly how we move further north. I know clicking on that will get us up there. Hang on. That's Kernak Way Station. Is that where we're heading? One insight awarded for discovering the way station. The old wanderer Agos suggests that you visit his acquaintance Braxius, the pawnbroker, in Torzag's shelter. Well, that would not be the shelter, would it? It seems we're on the road, but I'm not sure if we're going the right direction. Authority +1. And insight. Let me just see the controls here. I've not got used to them yet. I guess we can go into the camp, that's it. Do we have money? I'm guessing we must have. We can end day. In a variety of ways. One of the most common mistakes you can make is to expand too fast initially, since nothing warns you of the more hidden economical consequences. Instead, focus on faction trade. Very well. Fighting outlaws or creatures is not an income source in general. Try to avoid conflict wherever you can, unless on an active mercenary task. You're likely to run into a few death battles before getting the hang of it. Yes, I would think so. Should we go to back to Kernak's Way Station instead? I think maybe. The comitatus descends into the great basin that shelters Kernak Way Station from the worst of the jagged waste, dust and rock storms. Even at this distance from the walled compound, you see that the outpost is vastly overcrowded. Dozens of comitatii and literally hundreds of travellers swarm the confines of Kernak Station, which is now surrounded by makeshift camps and improvised mantios. Arrive at the gate. A pair of gruff-looking mercenaries walk out to meet you and give you a half-hearted hail. The first one to speak is a tall, lean, tainted fellow, armed with a barbed spear. Gotta say, you folk just keep popping up like wraiths around a rotting corpse. He sighs heavily. Alright, move your ass over there and try to settle in without fuss. He points to a large area outside of the low stone walls, just northwest of the station itself. What's wrong with your attitude? There's a brief pause, but then the mercenary sighs again and seems to deflate, his frustration giving way to weariness. Listen, I did not mean to bite off your head, stranger. It's not your fault, it's this. His gaze wanders around the way station with disgust. Now granted, all this crowd was pretty fun and profitable in the beginning, but now the whole place looks and smells like a war camp. Soon after it began, folks started bickering for all sorts of shit. The best camp spot, more water from the well, more food, and on and on and on. Fights broke out. Some of our guys got badly hurt when they went in to break them up. The other merc spits. You ask them if he knows the reason for the sudden influx of comitatii from the end travellers. There's all sorts of rumours. But you better ask around yourself, 'cause I ain't sure what to believe anymore. The tall fellow answers. And please, just don't give us a hard time, alright? Move your people and stuff to the place I pointed you, and everything will be dandy. With that, he bows his head and lights a bogweed roofer. You nod to the mercenaries and lead the comitatus to the designated spot. The crew strikes camp and everyone is settled in after a quarter of an hour. Time to explore. Sheltered in an arid basin surrounded by stone walls. Okay. Use a quick glance. Many signs of past destruction tell tales of raiders, rock storms, and worse. Travellers gather here to enjoy a little rest before leaving Kernak. The whole compound is crowded with people, travellers, comitatus, crews, vagrants, mercenaries, warbands, trading house agents, smugglers, prostitutes, thieves, and of course beggars. The largest stone building housing the tavern is filled to the brim with customers, so much so that you cannot get inside for a drink. Luckily, they had the sense to set up a bar outside too, and the kitchens try to serve as many of the clientele as possible. Should you be into jakra, meat steaks, or fried horror larvae, that is. The noise and stench of sweat and booze make you feel like you're in a war camp. Asking around, you hear several organisations looking for transportation of goods and personnel. Talk to the agents of factions looking for someone to haul goods. A quick survey of the options reveals several factions that are willing to pay for hauling their cargo and taking some people to Torzag's shelter to the north, which is where we're heading. There are the agents of a trading house trying to cut losses, as well as a bunch of shady fellows, probably smugglers, who promise that you will not regret taking them and their stuff to the great city. Another group, some pilgrims, who wanted to reach a shrine in the south, now wish to turn back toward the shelter. Last but not least, there is a company of foreign merchants from the Dragonlands, looking for a new market. Whoever you choose, you will not be able to strike a deal with another group. You will have to make sure that the goods and passengers arrive at their destination safe and sound. A trading house, the smugglers, the religious pilgrims. Do not make a decision right now. The whole compound is crowded with people, travellers, etc. Eat and drink with the travellers. After ordering a mug of mushroom ale and some food, you sit down on a bench under dusty awnings and take a look around. There are all kinds of people here, ferocious-looking orc mercenaries, arm wrestle at a long table nearby, laughing out loud at bawdy jokes. A tainted woman, juggling knives with 6 long, 3-jointed arms. Intimidating dragonkin warriors in colourful steel armour. Tarkian traders lounging on large pillows around a small portable table with cups of coffee and a hookah. A dwarf selling scavenged junk from the back of a tumbled-down cart. Even weird insect people you have never seen before, chittering away in their melodious language. There are some other vagary you can talk to and soon learn the reason for the state of this place. Apparently the Imperial legions have closed off the only pass through the Sepis Mountains in the south not too long ago, turning back anyone and everyone on both sides. This plunged the travel plans and business enterprises of many into utter chaos. People suspect that this is a reaction to the strange earthquake several weeks ago and the terrible windstorms that followed. The winds have been crazier than usual ever since, and many people engulfed by them complain about having nightmares and constant headaches. Ask around about the blockade, ask about the legions, ask about the winds and dreams, ask if there's any work. 1. A small, pot-bellied, swarthy bandal man, reputedly a spice trader, tells you that the tale of his encounter with the soldiers at the pass just several days ago. They told him that a new senatorial decree forbids anyone, except military personnel, passing through the mountains from either side, due to concerns for their safety. No other explanation was given, and it looks like a small army had joined the garrison at the Twin Towers. The forts guarding the pass. The legionnaires mean business too, pal. The bandal trader waves his hand dismissively. I don't advise going down there and playing tough. It is clear that the Imperials truly and well shut themselves for some reason, and I doubt they will ever tell you the reason why. The blockade has caused a real uproar, and will surely continue to do so when more and more people realise that they are practically cut off from the lands and providence of the south. Hardest hit are vagary, such as yourself, who now have to rethink their destinations entirely. Ask about the blockade. No, we've seen that. The legions. A tall, lean Sharduk woman with long blonde, braided hair talks about being stopped by a legionnaire patrol and told to turn back during her ranging southwest. You are sure that she and her shady companions are either bandits or slavers? Most of the fuckers seem to be moving south, I tell ya, she spits. There's something going on. Folks speak of coming across crowds of tin heads travelling down the Emperor's Road. She leans closer and whispers, her breath stinking of cheap booze. Some say that strange beasts roam the wastelands. Others that ever since the quake, something really bad is crawling all over the southern wastes. Whatever is going on seems to be connected to the phenomenon over at the Singing Winds that many people talk about. Mad windstorms, strange dreams and voices of the wind. Ask about the winds and dreams. A young but uncharacteristically talkative Ashkulite novice has a sizable audience gathered around him as he relates what he has gathered on the topic of the winds that have gone mad. It all started a week ago and with the earthquake. People say that the epicenter was somewhere southwest of here. Since then, the wind is changed. Almost everyone here has had bad dreams or has heard strange voices in the wind. The further southwest one goes, the more intense it gets. Many of his audience complain about headaches they get ever since they heard the voices. There is hushed talk of travellers going insane and their brains literally burning to a crisp. Though such talk is difficult to believe, ask something else. Ask if there's any work for your comitatus. You learn that while most travellers are trying to figure out what to do next, there are representatives of several organisations looking for vagary. Alright, so we know about that. Something else, and that's where we go to number 2. Let's look at the trading house that you should be safest. It takes little negotiation to strike a deal because the smugglers insist on dancing around the subject for a while. Eventually you agree to take the 4 of them to Torzag's shelter along with their cargo of obsidian spearheads, blades and arrowheads. Though the goods are practically contraband, they assure you that you will not have to deal with actually getting it through the gates. Their membership of the Loaders Guild should be enough assurance that they will honour the deal. As per the agreements, you have to travel to the shelter without unnecessary delay, and they will add their remaining supplies to your stores when you arrive. You will be handsomely compensating when you reach the city's gates. Right, it's time to leave. And with that, I think we go. Load up the cargo. Set out. Rest at camp. You have experienced rising disobedience among your military workforce lately. Something is bound to happen when slaves are disgruntled thusly. To your dismay, your guards inform you that in the morning that 2 of your slaves have escaped into the wasteland during the night. What they were hoping for is unclear, as even closer to settlements their survival chances are slim at best. That is of little consolation to you, however. What are you going to do about it? Either of these options can have a range of unforeseeable consequences. What could be done about your slaves? Punish them? Very little chance. Punish them severely? Very little chance. Try to earn their trust by being lenient? Very low chance. Or liberate a slave? Well, punish them. Your ploy fails. The behaviour of the slaves does not improve, although it does not deteriorate either. And we set out again. The comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your commies are in a pretty foul mood. Perhaps you can still turn things around. You can't, for the life of you, change the mood. Worse, you only annoy people by trying. All the bickering and grumbling results in work not being done properly, which slows you down in turn. Nothing to be done. Can I pay now? End day. Being paid should please them at least. I'm assuming we're going this way up the road. Yes. The comitatus morale is dangerous close to being irreversibly broken, and you are quickly losing your chance to turn this around. The crew is constantly arguing with each other, and a lot of them have no qualms with going against your will either. It gets so bad that if you can't calm everyone down, they will simply leave, dissolving the comitatus, or worse, depose you. Low chance here. Test success. You managed to do the unthinkable with a mixture of charm, threats, persuasion, outright lies. The people calm down and do not want to oust you any longer. The position is safe. And your ploy seems to work. The sleeves become more docile. Fine. Comitatus sets out again. +1 to obedience. The comitatus morale is dangerously close. No amount of charm, threats, persuasion, or lies help you this time. It does not matter with a crew who is fed up. With what matters is that they believe that you are responsible for it. Whether they leave you behind and choose another leader or channel their frustration into violence is also of little consequence. Perhaps paying them more on a daily basis would have been better. Try reloading there and seeing if we can... Success. Vagrus is safe for now at least. Pay now. The comitatus is in sight of a nearby settlement, eager to get some well-deserved rest. But what to do with the people you took on at Kernak? What do they say about this? They seem happy to have reached their destination. The great Blackblood Mountains towers ahead, crowned with black fortresses and jagged battlements. The single immense wall that blocks entry to the bowels of the mountain looms ahead. Your passengers are making ready to depart, but first they check their cargo. Everything is intact. The cargo is in order, and your passengers quickly upload it. After giving you their remaining supplies, the one in charge hands you the agreed-upon fee for your services and turns to you before leaving. You've just made an important friend, Vagrus. We have 150 supplies, 50 Loaders Guild. Loaders Guild smugglers leave your comitatus, lose 30 obsidian blades, and gain 26 lurg. The passengers are gone, as is their cargo. They will surely enter Zortag on their own. Let's go inside. You reach the fortified gates of the great city. After waiting your turn in the line of chatting travellers, bleating beasts of burden, swearing loaders, exhausted slaves, decrepit pilgrims, and fellow vagrii, you are greeted gruffly by guards under the shadow of the gatehouse. Approach the guards. An inspection follows. You have nothing to hide, or at least there is no way they can find it. After getting through the inspection, you are told that you now have to pay the gate tax. Pay the gate tax. -3 changer. Ah, there it is. There's the 17 bros, 5 lurg, and 7 changers. So changers is the smallest. I'm lurg and then bros. Okay. The issue of the gate tax is concluded, and you are free to enter the city. You head to Amansio immediately. Though the vast caravans and tunnels inside Blackblood Mountain merely give refuge to a war leader, Torzag, many centuries past, the imperial city of Tenebritris, or as people are persistently calling it, Torzag's shelter, that sprung up here following the war, managed to transform into one of the most important settlements on the continent, often referred to as Gorod's city. The shelter not only houses the cathedral of the Raging One in its immense ever-dark caves, but is also a bustling trade centre and centre of obsidian harvesting in the region. Thousands toil and haggle under the wrought iron chandeliers every day, while servants of the Master of Curses deal out justice in the name of the malevolent god. In the market district. So 4. sprawling over a dozen blocks close to the city gate. The market district is a bustling, crowded place where you can buy and sell most anything imaginable. Anyone entering the labyrinth of stalls, shops, bazaars is constantly bombarded by a wide range of strong smells and invaded by the competing shouts of peddlers and salesmen. Seek out Brax's house. What are these? Stories in alignment. Pawnbroker. Not sure what the symbols are. You make your way to the part of the market district that lies just east of Calrish Market. It takes a while to locate the statue of Comitatus overlooking the dried-up fountain carved of dark stone. But when you do find it, you can see the shop is indeed right where Argos said it would be. Huddled between two taller, decrepit buildings, Braxia's storefront is not much to look at. Only his name is written on the stone slab above the doorway. No sign, no display. No stall, nothing. Inside is a dark little room with a dirty counter, a strange odour, nondescript trash that barely passes for wares, and a demonkin follower, fiddling absent-mindedly with some gadget. He looks up as you enter. "What can I do for you?" he says with a ghoulish grin. You can't help it, he has pointed teeth, a big nose, and a crown of jagged horns that not only adorns the top of his head, but also the sides of his jaws. His eyes burn with a pale orange light, and he is surrounded with an almost palpable aura of nervousness. Surely this may not be the man you are guided to. Are you Braxus? Oh yeah, in the flesh. Braxus bows his head theatrically. You explain to him that an old wanderer called Agos told you to come see him if you wanted to find the right people for a comitatus. Braxus smiles his fiendish smile upon hearing your story. Indeed, I do specialise in connecting such people. I might have someone you will find useful and even help you in getting them to join you. And I owe Agos, so there, everybody wins. Ask him who he can get. I'm not going to tell him I'm not interested. I need everyone I can get right now. And what this will cost you. The fellow I have in mind wants to return to the road. He used to be, well connected many years ago, worked for some crime syndicate or other. Then he disappeared for a while. He came back a year ago and so became a bouncer. But someone with his abilities will never sit on his arse for too long. Now he's eager to set out again, so he came to a beautiful Torzax to find a comitatus or similar arrangements. He calls himself Harbeck. Mind you, he might have his own reasons to hit the road. You'll have to work that out with him yourself. When you ask him what you owe him for this, he simply shakes his head. Nothing. Like I said, I owe Agos. And he told me that I can pay him back by aiding people he sends to me. Odd, right? Well, not so much really. At any rate, I can arrange a meeting with Harbeck for you. Yes, I want to meet him. Oh, he looks a bruiser. Minutes after you tell Braxius that you wish to meet this Harbeck, he has closed down the shop and is leading you to where you can talk to the man. You soon arrive at a stinking watering hole at the end of an alley, somewhere between Market District and Undercity. The sign has a feeding carrion bird inside it. Underneath, crooked letters spell out the name, the Grinding Gizzard. You find a quiet table in a corner while Braxius gets a couple of drinks. By the time you finish the first, a large man appears and greets you curtly. The first thing everyone notices about Harbeck is his scythe-like right arm, as well as his other insectoid features. Clearly the results of the taint. He observes you with compound eyes before talking in a rasp. I am told you're looking for someone to join a comitatus. If you want that someone to be able to take care of rough stuff, I'm your man. Harbeck here has seen a lot of action. He's tough as nails and knows a lot of less savoury people, if you know what I mean, adds Braxius. Anyway, Vagrus, I see you have questions, Harbeck says, twiddling his mandibles. You do have questions for him. Harbeck nods. I'm listening, Vagrus. Ask about his past. Harbeck clicks his tongue. I suppose I owe you some kind of explanation. Long story short, I ran with some gangs down south in Port Navarone. I was nobody important, but I always got the job done. I was but a kid. When they set me up for something I ain't done, I went to Purgatoria. You heard of the place, Vagrus? Not a pretty place, I tell you. I was there for 12 years. Gracchus whistles to himself. Anyway, I got out and started making a living for what I learned here. Havoc goes on. I got introduced to some Collegium members. Lately, I had enough of sitting on my ass and decided to try working for a Vagrus. That's all there is to know about the past. There might be other things you want to talk about. Ask about his skills and abilities. If you're looking for a fighter, look no further, Havoc says, leaning on the table. He is indeed in peak physical condition and seems like someone you would not want to provoke in general. As for the rest, I know how to survive and remain unseen out there, and I can be of great help when dealing with the underworld. Collegiate syndicates, cons, you name it. I can also make people talk. Only when necessary, of course. There might be other things. Ask about his underworld connections. I used to run with gangs and then was initiated into syndicates. Collegia. I know people that know people. That may be to your advantage should you ever require such assistance. You're afraid that it will bite you in the ass? I can't give you any guarantees, but I swear I'll keep my business out of yours. I ain't an active member or anything. There might be other things. Ask him why he wants to be on the road. You mean apart from being tired of sitting on my ass? Havoc chuckles. All right. Might as well be honest about it. So the thing is that a recent encounter opened my eyes to the fact that those who got me into that damned prison are still about and out. I might as well pay them a visit and get some kind of payback. Those people are all around the realms. I would not go out of my way to look for them, but if I find one of them, I'll let you know and we can talk about possibilities. That sounds perfectly fair to me, doesn't it to you? That's it, time to decide. So, will you have me in your comitatus, boss? Harvick's lips twist into a crooked smile. Braccius looks at you expectantly as he speaks. There's a matter of a small fee you pay to Harvick too. It's a standard procedure in these cases. 3 lerg. We'll pay you straight up. Plus 40 with the Loader's Guild. Harvick joins your comitatus and minus 3 lerg. Harvick rises from his chair and shakes his head as you hand over the coins. I'll use this to buy travelling gear, he says, and I'll meet you in the Mantio. As far as I'm concerned, we can get on the road right away, boss. He leaves as you down the rest of your drink. Braccius asks you to return to his shop with him. When you arrive, he turns to you. Now that Harvick business is taken care of, I can help you recruit another fellow. There are 2 options. Want to hear me out? Yes, we will hear you out. Alright, good. So there are 2 fellows here in Torzags that I could put you in contact with. Both have their own problems, so to say, that they are trying to solve. I can help you solve their problems for them. One, that is. I mean, I can help you with one of the 2, and you'll owe me for this. You ask him about the 2 individuals in question. One is a dwarf, and a particularly nasty one at that, but don't you get discouraged. Given the right motivation, all that nastiness can be directed towards your foes, Captain. He's a specialist when it comes to dwarfy stuff. You know, scrounging, smuggling, hoarding, business in general, and he's connected. He knows a lot of people in low places, The Demon King pawnbroker scratches the base of a horn before going on. The other one is an orc, and a tough one even for his kind. He's somewhat of a celebrity around these parts. Won a few gladiator games at tournaments years ago. But then he started to train folks who want to become warriors rather than warrioring himself. And I guess now he's fed up with that and wants to travel and fight again. A real champ, you know. I think I'd like to hear about the dwarf. Braccius gives you one of his predatory smiles. Good, good. As I've said, Garrick is a dwarf and naturally a businessman. However, his business has seen some trouble lately. So much so, Captain, that the little twerp is in deep shit. And if you want him, you need to pluck him out of it. Normally this would mean forking over a substantial amount of coins of the silver variety to settle his extensive debts. But I can deal with that in my own way, and yet in your name, and you wouldn't get the dwarf's gratitude, and you would get the dwarf's gratitude and services. You would owe me a favour, as in turn, as I've indicated. You give it thought, but after a few moments, Bractius clears his throat. Agree. Now we're talking. The pawnbroker claps excitedly. All right, you just go to your business now. I need an hour or so to get things done. When you feel like it afterwards, make your way to the old bathhouse in the Undercity. Normally only the Friends of the Loaders Guild may enter to do business with the Collegium. But tell them that at the gate that you are there for Garrick, and you were sent by yours truly. You will hand over the dwarf, and you can tell him... Oh, they will hand over the dwarf, and you can tell him how it was you who paid his debts. I believe that he'll need a little convincing to join your crew after that. You nod and prepare to take your leave, thanking Bractius for his aid. Don't thank me yet, Captain. And before you forget, you'll owe me. A day will come when I'll need your aid. He winks and sits down behind the counter. So we're on the streets again, and this is where we will save it. Well, this is where we will end for today. There are links around to other gameplays that you may enjoy. There's a like and a subscribe if you want to help the channel grow. And of course a comment section where it will be my pleasure to discuss with you. I shall see you around. I've been Yorkie the Tailspinner. The Chihuahua's been sleeping, and you, my friends, have been wonderful.